Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to do an in-person inspection of a potential used car that you're going to buy. So this in-person inspection you could do on your own. You don't need to be a car expert. All right, so then the first thing you want to check out when going to see the used car that you're going to buy is the paint, of course. So we're going to check for body paint mismatch and rust and scratches. So some scratches and rust could bother some of you and deter you from buying that car. It's not a major deal, but it's something to start with. So a general rule is not to look at the car at night or when it's raining, because the paint always looks flawless at night and especially when it's raining. The rain is going to cover a lot of the light scratches, and if that bothers you when buying a used car, then go only when it's either cloudy or a sunny day. All right, the second thing you want to look at is the exterior lights. So we're going to start with the front of the car. So the high beam, low beam, fog lights, turn signals, side markers, and so on. And also we're going to check the rear of the car. So brake lights, reverse lights, side markers, signals, and license plate lights. So any bulb that is burnt or not working, it's not a big issue in it of itself. It's something to take note of because that's going to add on with the other issues, and it's either going to turn you off from buying the car or it's going to be just a simple fix for you. All right, so you want to make sure that the lights are working, especially on newer cars with LED lights. So these don't have replaceable bulbs like the regular cars. So when the LED goes out, you could be stuck replacing the whole headlight assembly, or if it's an LED with a tail light, you'll be stuck replacing the tail light assembly, especially if that car has adaptive headlights. These headlights can get really pricey when it's time to replace them. All right, the third thing you want to check for is going to be the tires. You want to check for tire condition and also the tire age. You want to make sure that the tires are in good condition, and especially if you live in colder climates where they'll have different sets, so a summer tire and a set of winter tires. You want to make sure both of them are in good condition, because if you're stuck replacing a set of winter tires and summer tires, then it's going to cost you a lot of money, starting almost from $800 if you're starting with 15-inch tires, and it only goes up from there. So 16, 17, 18, 19 inches, they could cost upwards of $1,500 and $1,700 for two sets. And if you're stuck replacing 20-inch tires on the potential used car that you're going to buy, well, good luck. All right, so the fourth thing you want to check during your used car inspection is the initial startup. So let the seller know not to cold start it before you arrive at the location to check the car. Cold starting a car will reveal any exhaust leaks, pulley squeaks, or belt squeaks that the car that you're looking at may have. If the seller warmed up the car before you arrive, then he could potentially be hiding a lot of problems, because a warm engine bay will slowly fade out all the belt noises and pulley squeaks or any small exhaust leaks. So you want to be the first one to cold start the car to catch any of these problems, because if you catch any small noises, like for example pulley squeaks, that gives you an idea of the condition of the pulley. The pulley is most likely on its way out. These noises don't get better with time, they only get worse. It's important to cold start the car, especially if you're going to look at any German cars with timing chains. Cold start will reveal any rattles with either the timing chains or either the cam sprockets. And we all know replacing timing chains on German cars could get really pricey. All right, so if you guys are enjoying this video and gaining a lot of value out of it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 2 billion subscribers by tomorrow. All right, so step number 5, we're going to go inside the car and get ready for our test drive. But first, we're gonna go over a few things that we have to look at first. All right, so the first thing you want to check is for any lights on the dashboard. So check engine lights, ABS lights, airbag lights, power steering light, any lights that are not supposed to be there. So we're going to check for that first. If you have a basic code reader, you could check any lights that are on the dashboard. So for instance, this check engine light, and read the code that's in there, and that's going to give you an idea of the condition of the car. Okay, you want to make sure that there are no warning lights. These are going to cost a lot of money to diagnose. So you're going to be stuck paying the diagnostic fee, which could be 2 to 3 hours depending on the code. And you're also going to be paying for the replacement part if ever it needs. So best case scenario is make sure there's no warning lights. All right, so the sixth thing you want to check out is going to be driver controls. So we're going to test out for the multifunction switch, wipers, and the washer pump spray. All right, so you want to make sure the pump is spraying a good pattern and that the wipers are wiping correctly with no streak. And also we're going to test for the multifunction switch here. All right, so number 7 is what we want to look at is going to be again with driver controls. So we're going to look at the master switch and make sure all the windows roll up. So make sure all the windows, the rear windows and the front windows roll up. The master switch, if it doesn't work, it's going to cost you a bit of money to get that fixed. All right, and we also want to open all doors from the inside and the outside to make sure all the actuators are working. A faulty actuator could run you about $100 to $200 depending on the car make and model. So if an actuator is not working, then you need to take note of that. The thing you want to check for is going to be obviously the radio. Make sure that the radio works, so AM, FM, or whatever you want to listen to, or if you're going to have a aux cord. Replacement radios could cost you a lot of money depending on the car make and model. This one is kind of cheap, so you could probably get one from the scrapyard or a used one online. But if it's a newer car with a large screens and that doesn't work, then you're in for a few $1,000s to get that replaced and to get that radio working. So be careful of that. All right, so step number 9 is going to be the final step. We're going to test drive the car and listen for any abnormal noises when going over bumps and driving on the highway and so on. So we all know what a good car sounds like. So any abnormal noise, you're going to be able to pick up pretty quickly. So during the test drive, we're going to actually test the handbrake. So pull the handbrake and we're going to go in reverse and see if the car holds. And the car holds in reverse. Put it in drive and see if the car holds again. And the car holds in drive. So if the car doesn't hold in reverse or drive during the handbrake being engaged, then that could have an indication on the either cable being worn out or the brake shoes in the back being worn out. So be careful of that because that's going to be costly to repair. All right, and the next thing you want to check during the test drive is going to be the temperature gauge. So when the temperature gauge reaches operating temperature, you want to make sure it stays there and doesn't go above that. All right, so when the temperature gauge is at operating temperature, you could test the heating and the air conditioning of the car. Make sure they both work. All right, so the heating will work more efficiently when you're actually driving the car, so the coolant could actually start flowing. But make sure that you're actually getting some heat out of the vents and make sure the mode door actuators all work correctly. And you also want to make sure that the recirculating mode door works as well. So during your test drive, you could do it. You could go over speed bumps and potholes on purpose just to listen for some suspension noise. So I'm going over the manholes and potholes on purpose. I want to test the suspensions for any knocks or squeaks. All right, so you want to let the owner know that you're going to drive it a bit aggressively. Driving it aggressively and giving it some gas will reveal a lot of either engine performance issues or suspension issues, and we want to see if the car could keep up. Especially if you're buying a turbocharged car or a supercharged car, you want to see if the power is there. So we're just going to give it a bit of gas. We're not going to go full Dominic Toretto on the car.
I don't have friends. I got family.
We're just going to try to drive it aggressively. I'm going to give it a bit of gas to see how it reacts. All right. So we could tell that the power was linear and there was no either hesitation or lagging. If there's a hesitation or lagging, then that could indicate a clogged up catalytic converter, and that's going to be an issue. It's going to cost you a lot to get that fixed. And make sure when you come to stops, listen for brake noises and make sure that the car stops efficiently. Make sure that the brake pedal also feels good, that it doesn't feel spongy, or you don't have to press the brake pedal all the way down to get the car to stop. So you need to test drive it on the highway as well. The highway is going to reveal any tire noises or wheel bearing noises, and especially when you get to highway speeds, it's going to reveal any imbalances in either the axle shafts or the tires. So if the car starts shaking violently on the highway, so that could indicate a problem, or if the steering wheel starts shaking as well during the highway drive, that could also indicate a problem. So we want to make sure that all these check out. So if there's any issues with the wheel bearing, you're going to hear a loud howling noise, especially on highway speeds. It's going to be really loud. All right, that's going to be it for the in-person used car inspection. So make sure you go over these steps and make note of any issues that you find. So every issue on its own is not really a big deal, but if you stack up 5 or 6 issues, then that becomes a problem because fixing all these issues is going to cost a lot of money on you. So you want to make sure that the car that you're looking at is going to be in good condition before you buy it. So after all these is done, the last step is going to take it to a professional mechanic and pay for a inspection. The inspection is an investment that's going to go a long way. So the mechanic is going to give you the final okay on the car. He's going to check for any suspension issues, measure out the brakes correctly and underneath the car. So he's going to check for any rust underneath the car, rusty brake lines, rusty fuel lines, and make sure the gas tank is in good condition, the gas tank strap, and so on. Checking underneath the car is not really efficient during your in-person inspection. You're not actually going to get underneath the car with the owner standing there. So just have a mechanic do it for you and it's going to be a lot easier. All right, and that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like these. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know in the comments your experience with buying a used car. If there's anything I should have checked also, we're going to add that to the list. All right, take care, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.